For an Amish bride, the first night of marriage is not approached with flashy ceremonies, lavish hotels, or the glamour of modern honeymoons. Instead, it carries a solemn weight, steeped in modesty, faith, and centuries-old traditions. The day of the wedding itself is often exhausting. A sunrise ceremony in the farmhouse, followed by a community meal where neighbors, friends, and relatives gather around simple but abundant food. By the time the sun dips below the horizon, the celebration quiets, and the anticipation of the night ahead finally sets in. Unlike in the outside world, Amish brides are raised with very little exposure to public discussions about intimacy. Courtship is discreet, engagement is announced simply, and conversations about the marriage bed are whispered only between trusted mothers and daughters. The lack of public chatter does not mean ignorance. It means that preparation for the first night is framed entirely through the lens of modesty, faith, and responsibility. For many Amish women, their mother or an older sister will quietly guide them during the days leading up to the wedding, offering soft-spoken advice, prayers, and reassurance. These conversations are not indulgent or graphic. They are tender reminders that love in marriage is both a duty and a blessing. In the hours after the reception, while some guests linger for songs and late-night laughter, the bride's heart is already racing. She knows that tonight she steps into a new stage of life, not just as a daughter or sister within the community, but as a wife, partner, and future mother. For the Amish, this first night is not treated as a spectacle of romance, but as the quiet beginning of a lifelong covenant. The bride's mind is filled with both nervousness and a deep sense of duty, aware that her role is sacred. The Amish bride's preparation for her first night begins not with perfumes or cosmetics, but with prayer. She bows her head, thanking God for guiding her through the wedding day and asking for grace as she enters marriage fully. Unlike the outside world, where brides might spend hours in front of mirrors applying makeup or packing glamorous nightwear, the Amish bride's preparations are guided by modesty and simplicity. Her handmade nightdress, often sewn months before the wedding, is plain, unadorned, and stitched with care by her own hands or with the help of her mother. It is not chosen to impress through extravagance, but to reflect purity and humility. Before slipping into this garment, the bride carefully undoes the pins that have held her prayer covering in place throughout the long day. To remove it in the privacy of the marriage chamber is both intimate and symbolic, marking the transition from daughterhood into the shared life of a wife. She lets her hair down, long and natural, as it has been kept hidden beneath the cap. For her husband, this is often the first time he will see her hair in its full, uncovered beauty, a moment that carries both shyness and significance. The Amish bride also tends to her body in quiet, practical ways. A basin of warm water might be set aside for her to wash away the day's labors, for Amish homes often lack modern plumbing. As she finishes these quiet preparations, the bride folds her wedding dress neatly and sets it aside, often keeping it for future use at church services or even one day as a burial gown. For Amish clothing serves many purposes over a lifetime. The simplicity of her preparation reflects the deeper truth of Amish marriage. When the final guest leaves and the last lantern in the farmhouse kitchen is extinguished, the Amish bride steps into a kind of silence she has never known before. For hours, her wedding day was filled with laughter, children's voices, the clatter of dishes, and the hum of hymns sung in unison. Now, in the quiet of the evening, only the soft creak of the wooden floorboards and the distant call of a night-bird remain. For the bride, this quietness allows her to gather her thoughts and breathe deeply after the long and exhausting celebration. The stillness itself becomes part of the preparation. It slows her racing heart and reminds her that what she is about to share with her husband is both holy and natural. Often the bride and groom's chamber is simple: a wooden bed with a handmade quilt, perhaps stitched by her mother or grandmother, a small oil lamp casting soft shadows on the wall, and little else. The room is modest, unadorned, stripped of distractions. In that simplicity, the gravity of the night feels even more profound. For the Amish bride, there is comfort in knowing that no one expects grandeur or glamour. What matters is presence, faith, and the willingness to embrace this new life. In those first moments together as husband and wife, there are often more whispers and prayers than anything else. Many brides begin the night by quietly praying with their husbands, asking God to bless their union, to grant them patience, and to guide them through their years ahead. This prayer transforms the nervous energy into peace, reminding the bride that she is not stepping into this alone, but with God watching over them. In this way, the sacred silence of the wedding night becomes the foundation of the marriage itself, quiet, holy, and filled with trust. Now, on this night, the barrier of restraint is gently lowered, and trust becomes the bridge that allows them to step forward as one. She knows that her husband, too, is likely inexperienced, equally shy, and equally committed to honoring the sanctity of their union. Many Amish couples begin their marriage not with physical intimacy immediately, but with words spoken softly in the dark, hopes for the future, gratitude for the day, promises made again in private. For the bride, this gentle unfolding affirms that she is safe, that her new role as wife is not about fear or pressure, but about companionship. The first night, then, becomes a seed of trust planted in fertile ground, one that will grow and bear fruit as the years of marriage unfold.